What's that?
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
This, my friend, is a pint. Why don't you just pull up a stool and have a drink with it? It comes in pints. I can get you one. You've had a whole half already.
Good night and party on!
Party on, Wayne!
Party on, Garth.
There we go. All right. Let's see. It was kind of weird doing a stream alone. If you don't have anyone to tell you if your voice sounds weird before you go live, or if your microphone is on at all. I have gone live before where I was muted, and it took a couple minutes for some people to get into the chat and let me know. Anyways, here we are. Hopefully you can hear me, but before I get started, I do need to open up my after work beer. A Let's Go IPA by a local Fall Brewing right here in San Diego. Throw that into my Waiting for Nerdrotic koozie, even though I was on time this time for once. Usually on Mondays, I get to talking backstage with Roman and Blair, and before we know it, it's time to go live. And yeah, so anyways, new segment I'm going to try out. I'm always unscripted, but very unscripted, very unplanned. I've got kind of a list of things here to talk about, but we shall see what I actually get through, what seems interesting. It's going to be a very just kind of random stuff that I found on my phone throughout the day or throughout the week. And yeah, so let's see here. We had some interesting Disney World news on two different fronts. I'm going to pull up the more serious one first. Oh, it's already there. There we go. All right. Nope, wrong one. There we go. And I realized just as I pulled this up, because I think I found this article either through Twitter or maybe Facebook or something. And I just looked through it and okay, it seemed interesting. Saved it on my phone, sent it over to my laptop. I realized as I pulled it up, it was from CNN Business, but whatever, it is what it is. I will read news from all sorts of different sources. I don't put myself in my own little echo chamber just to see really how biased everything is. But yeah, let's get into this one. Disney wants wrongful death suit thrown out because widower bought an Epcot ticket and had Disney Plus. No, folks, this is not a Babylon Bee meme. This is not an SNL skit. This is a real life article. And funny enough, as I already pointed out, from CNN Business, which Disney being quite the left-leaning, agenda-pushing company, I'm honestly surprised that they would report on this because this is the type of news and the type of PR that Disney usually wants buried. So there you have a photo of the Raglan Road Irish pub that lives in Disney Springs, Disney World's version of Downtown Disney. I say version of, I think they probably had their Disney Springs space before Disneyland had Downtown Disney. That came around, let's say 2001 when they built California Adventure. I have eaten at this restaurant. It is a pretty cool. I'm a sucker for pubs, Irish pubs specifically. Of course, as you can see here, I've got my cool pub background here for our after work beers. But yeah, when I Went to Walt Disney World back in 2001. This was the first restaurant that I hit. Checked into the hotel, already had reservations for dinner here, and it was great. It was a really cool experience. There were 2 musicians up on the stage playing, and both just acoustic guitars and singing. They even had a band playing outside. So while we were waiting for a reservation, we got in and checked in a little bit early. We were able to grab drinks right there outside, and you can wander around. Downtown Disney does not let you do that. So that was one leg up that Florida had over California, was we were able to grab drinks, hear a band playing outside, wait for our reservation. Then when we went inside, there were musicians inside. Food was great. Everything was great. But sometimes things happen, and sometimes they are really, really bad. Legal analyst read through the Disney Plus contract. Her thoughts on Disney's attempt to block lawsuit. A man suing Walt Disney Parks and Resorts for the wrongful death of his wife is facing a new legal hurdle. That alone right there, right off the bat, death of, we're going to get into this and unpack this a little bit, but the death of his wife because they ate at a restaurant, that's just horrible all in itself. And I can understand that mistakes happen and stuff, but death is a big mistake, whatever happened. Wrongful death of his wife facing new legal hurdle. Disney is trying to get it thrown out of court and sent to arbitration because he signed up for Disney Plus years earlier. And the plot thickens. Court documents show that the company is trying to get the $50,000 lawsuit tossed because the plaintiff, Jeffrey Piccolo, hope I'm pronouncing that properly. I know it sounds like piccolo, like the instrument, but I don't know. Signed up for a 1-month trial of the streaming service Disney Plus in 2019, which requires trial users to arbitrate all disputes with the company. Company lawyers also claim that because Piccolo used the Walt Disney Parks website to buy Epcot Center tickets, Disney is shielded from a lawsuit from the estate of Piccolo's deceased wife, who died of a reaction to severe food allergies. Let's just stop right there for a second. They are trying to use an obscure clause that I'm sure is buried deep within the Disney Plus agreement when you do your free trial to get out of a lawsuit because this man's wife died from severe food allergy eating at their restaurant. Like, how far do you have to reach to try to have a lawsuit thrown out? If you don't already know, hopefully you do know, Gina Carano is in the middle of spearheading a lawsuit against Disney for her wrongful firing. And the judge just recently decided that the suit will move forward. Of course, Disney came and they tried to have it thrown out, and they tried to say it was, she had no grounds to sue and this and that and the other, whatever. And a judge ruled and they said, nope, we're going to hear it. So, and now here, someone actually died. This man's wife died. And they're like, oh, well, because you signed up for our Disney Plus free trial 5 years ago, you're not allowed to come after us for anything. Oh boy, that I don't think Disney needs any more bad PR right now. Like, at the very least, they could settle out of court and pay this man whatever, yeah. But to try and have it thrown out, like, now you're just going to get more publicity, more bad publicity, and more people are going to hear about the story because there's a lawsuit being filed. And instead of just either trying to settle or trying to do the right thing, you're trying to have it thrown out. People are going to talk about this. It's been all over Twitter all morning, all day. I know my new Monday thing is called Late to the Party News. This might be one of the rare times that I'm like, oh, I stumbled upon something that, like, this story just broke today. It took me a couple hours to get home from work and pull it up, but here we are. In a legal filing responding to Disney's claims, Piccolo's lawyer called Disney's argument preposterous and said that the notion that signing up for a Disney Plus free trial would bar a customer's right to a jury trial with any Disney affiliate or subsidiary is so outrageously unreasonable and unfair as to shock the judicial system. That's just one of those words, judicial. If you've ever seen that old 1995 stand-up special from Dana Carvey, known for, Wayne's World, famous for his years on SNL and everything, talking about how it's impossible to say the word judicial without sounding drunk. And I swear this is my first beer today since I've gotten home from work. But yeah, you can't say judicial without sounding kind of drunk. But it fits the theme here because we're having after work beers. Furthermore, Walt Disney Parks and Resorts is, quote, explicitly seeking to bar its 150 million Disney Plus subscribers from ever prosecuting a wrongful death case against it in front of a jury, even if the case facts have nothing to do with Disney Plus. That is preposterous. That is the perfect word to use for that. Piccolo is seeking damages in excess of $50,000 pursuant to Florida's Wrongful Death Act, as well as damages for mental pain and suffering, loss of companionship and protection, loss of income and medical and funeral expenses. And I'm sure this is no shocker to anyone here. Disney didn't immediately respond to CNN's request for comment. So there's our first story. I figure we'll get the serious one out of the way because that is some dark stuff right there. That is, yeah. Yes, Disney can suck it. Well, Elon's all over Twitter. I will never call it X. That's one of the only things where I'm like, I don't care that you changed the name of it, Elon. I'm not going to call it X. But yeah, he's been all over Twitter trolling people about the conversation he had with Trump the other day. So I'm sure he's seen it. And like he said he was going to foot the bill for people who are trying to sue Disney over wrongful termination. But yeah, I wonder if he sees this, if he'll foot the bill for this one too. That would be quite the twist. We'll see. I just think lawsuits and issues and bad PR is piling up against Disney. It is not looking good for them. So let's continue. So anyone who's ever been to either of the Disney parks in America, I've been to both. Obviously, I have not been outside of the country ever in any way, in any fashion, shape, or form, but especially not to any of the international Disney parks. But I have been to the Disneyland parks here in California and to all of the Disney parks in Florida. And if you've been to any of the Disney parks, you know that one of the main staples of both Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom is, let me pull this back up here, the Rivers of America that has the Mark Twain riverboat, as well as, I forget if Florida had this or not, but in California they also have the, forget exactly what it's called, but basically like a big pirate ship that you can also ride on. And it's just sort of an easy, slow-moving ride around the waters. And certain rides like that, honestly, I think are needed, especially for parents. They're there with kids. Like sometimes you need something where you're not standing in line and you're not on some, roller coaster or whatever. You just want something kind of slow-moving. There's still something to see. There's still, some entertainment to be had, but you get to kind of sit down, you get to relax, and it's just, and then also the Tom Sawyer Island where kids can go over and kind of explore and wander around and play. So Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom is doing away with their Rivers of America. Yeah, luckily the time that I went to Florida, it was the week after Thanksgiving, and it was strangely perfect. It wasn't hot, it wasn't cold, it wasn't overly humid, it didn't rain. I got lucky. Disney Parks confirmed today that the new Cars attraction in Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom will be replacing Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America as expected. So right off the bat, so they're bringing a Cars ride to hey, Roman popped in. Cheers. Thanks for being here, buddy. I know you said you had a lot going on today, but always good to see you. So right off the bat, right there, Cars. So that is a Pixar film. And I commented on Tom, the Rogue attraction, on Twitter. He was talking about this too. And I just kind of said, like, I don't really feel like anything Pixar related belongs in the parks. And he said, well, they've already got the Buzz Lightyear ride. So, okay, that's fair. That's true. The Buzz Lightyear ride sucks, but yeah, like here in California, they put all that over in Disney California Adventure. All the Pixar stuff is in the other park, so it's not like in the main Disney park. But this one, they're going to take out the Rivers of America and the Tom Sawyer Island, and they're going to slap a Pixar Cars attraction right smack in the middle of Magic Kingdom, where all that stuff used to be. Notably, people are upset about that. They think it's a stupid. First of all, it's a stupid place to put it. Any new ride that comes out is always going to be very popular for a long time. So there's going to be long lines. They're going to have to really get creative with the queue. It's just going to create congestion for the area. But then again, it takes away that area where people can go over and their kids can kind of run around and just explore. You can take the boat ride around the Rivers of America or, yeah, whatever. So Disney released today a concept art for the reimagined Frontierland in the Magic Kingdom, showing the new Cars attraction in the space occupied by the river since the Magic Kingdom's opening in 1971, and also since Disneyland's opening in 1955, which there's no plans to do anything like this in Disneyland anytime soon, but I think that's pretty friggin' lame to take out something that's been there since opening, since before Disney was the horrible entity that it is now. But I think they're trying to go with anything that's like quick, fast. People have ADD now. People actually have shorter attention spans than goldfish. It's like you're going to wait in line for 2 hours and you're going to get on a ride that's going to last like a minute, flashing lights and whatever, and then move on to the next thing. But yeah, so Tom, aka the Rogue Attraction, is also making the point. It's like if you're upset about the Rivers of America going away for a Cars ride, but you're not mad about Tiana's Bayou Adventure replacing Splash Mountain, he's like, you're doing it wrong. It's like, you should be mad about both. They're both stupid. There's no reason to change Splash Mountain. I understand what people say about the movie Song of the South. I managed to find a bootleg copy of it and watch it with my own eyes. And as much as I hate to actually give credit to some of these people, there were a couple of scenes that were kind of like, oh, that's a little dated. Okay, fine, I get it, whatever. But the ride itself, Splash Mountain, it was just the cartoon characters. It was the rabbit and the bear and the whatever stuff. And it was like people had, because that movie, Song of the South, has literally been in the vault for pretty much forever. I think it saw a theatrical release. And it has never been released on a official home release format. The only versions out there that exist now are somehow people bootleg it, somehow got a copy of it, whatever. Like the movie does not exist anywhere. Disney has buried it deep in the vault to never come out again. So the people that were offended by the fact that Splash Mountain was based off of characters from this movie had to really dig and do some research. Those of us that are a little bit older and had kind of heard some rumblings about this, and then even like, my parents, that they could actually remember when the movie came out, it's like, okay, fine. But for the younger people that are offended by everything, you had to really dig to decide that you were offended by this ride. And they've even pulled the song Zippity Doo Dah from being played anywhere in the parks. Like it's exhausting is really what it is. Because I mean, growing up in Southern California, I have so many fond memories of going to Disneyland as a kid and growing up, going to the parks, watching the movies, the whole thing, everything. And it's just like, I constantly say that Walt is rolling over in his grave based on what they're doing with his company now. Oh yeah, they hate legacy. They love DEI and agenda and all that. Yeah, and that's exactly the perfect point too. Is you could say the same thing about movies like Gone with the Wind and stuff like that, where it's like these are, they're showing a period in America's history, a time that really happened. While there might be some ugly parts to it, it is historically accurate. These are things that really happened. This is how things used to be. And no, we're not saying that we want to go back to the way things were like that. We're not saying that that was good. We're not saying we should do that. But it's just like they basically, they just want to erase history because it's like, oh, it's ugly and it hurts people's feelings. It's like, well, sorry, not really that sorry. It happened. This is how things were. And we're just showing how things were. and then showing like, look how far we've come and we've moved forward. And it really boggles my mind. I'm going down a rabbit hole at this point. It really blows me away that people are getting to the point where they want to like demonize Abraham Lincoln. And there's been like schools throughout the United States that are named like, Abraham Lincoln Elementary School and stuff. And they're like changing the name of the school because they don't like the fact that it's named after Abraham Lincoln. It's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't he in fact the person in the White House when we essentially abolished slavery? That new special day in June that everybody celebrates that they all claim they all knew about, but they didn't really know about it until Trump wanted to have a rally that day. But now all of a sudden everybody's all like, oh, you need to pay attention in school. We all knew about Juneteenth. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Now you're taking Abraham Lincoln's name off of stuff, not even realizing that he was the one who actually was fighting to end slavery. I was not a star student in high school, but oddly enough, the subjects that I did very well in were world history and American history. And I can tell you right now, as a straight A student in history in high school, I had never heard the word Juneteenth in my life until Trump had a rally that day. So everybody that's younger than me that's saying you always knew about it, you can all suck it. How can you be offended by Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? Oh, that hurts me. Oh, boy. These are their stories. The modern era is stupid for trying to destroy the past. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. They're just trying to destroy the past, trying to destroy history. Like, yeah, history's ugly. There's some really ugly parts of history, but what did all of our history teachers tell us coming up in school? And, 15-year-old me is like, why do I have to learn this? And like, those that don't learn history. Yeah, well, that is why people are literally now asking for segregation, because they didn't learn history and they didn't let it sink in and they don't understand. All right. Okay. Woo, boy. Let's just let's move on from that one.
And that's all I have to say about that.
So, keeping with the let's talk trash on Disney thing. It's going to be my last Disney story, and then maybe we'll move on to some other funny stuff. Other thing that I've been seeing trending for the last couple days is the trailer for Snow White. If you've been following the story for any stretch of time, you've already discovered that the lead actress, Rachel Zegler, is an insufferable, whiny bitch who does nothing but crap all over Walt Disney's legacy, crap all over the original source material of this movie. Not only just the original Grimm's Fairy Tale, but then the movie that literally launched the Walt Disney Animation Studios career. Up to the point of Walt Disney making Snow White the first feature full-length animated film. He'd done short cartoons, Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie, all that stuff. But Snow White was the movie that really was like, he either could have gone completely bankrupt or he built the legacy that he built, which now everybody wants to just piss all over. And so I'm sure you've all seen the clips. Rachel Zegler going on and on about how terrible the original movie is, and we're not going to have a Prince Charming, and she's just going to be dreaming about the strong leader that she's going to be, and she wants to get paid for every hour that she's standing there in that dress, for every hour that people stream the movie, and she's just really been insufferable. As much as they were changing the story from the original source material, as much as they were making all these strange changes to the story, if she had at least been a little bit more likable, maybe some more people would have given it a chance. Definitely not me. I could care less about any of these live action remakes where they want to recast everybody, they want to change the stories or whatever. I don't care, but I'm just saying, overall, as like damage control for a company, for a corporation, if your lead actress had been a little bit more likable, this might not be so bad, but it gets worse. I have not watched this trailer yet, but I'm going to pull the trailer up. I know I'm going to get a copyright strike. I don't really care. I have not watched the trailer, and I'm going to watch it, but I've seen clips, I've seen screenshots, and I guess we all have Peter Dinklage to thank for them not actually hiring little people. I think is the PC term for it. I've already probably said a lot of things that are going to get me shadow banned and canceled, but for better or worse, they decided not to actually hire little people or dwarves or whatever to play the 7 dwarfs in the movie. There's a photo that came out a while back where it was a bunch of guys that looked like homeless dudes out of San Francisco, like robbed somebody who just came out of a boutique or something. But now apparently they've decided to even forego the 7 magical creatures and make them CGI. And just the little bit that I've seen on the internet, the small clips and pictures, it looks like absolute freaking nightmare fuel. Well, Roman, that's also because Jesus was probably in your yearbook. So, I have to do this now.
I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago.
Oh, let's see. What do we got here? I wish studios would bring back contract clauses to keep actors from saying or doing things that destroy your product. The writers are bad enough without the dancing, Dunderhead helping. So that's an interesting thought, but there's, kind of 2 sides to that coin, because on one hand, it's sort of like what they did to Gina Carano, but then at the same time, Pedro Pascal is making like the same comparisons, but he's on the correct side, according to Disney, because he's an idiot. And Pedro Pascal is like their freaking golden boy. He's in everything now. Like every time you open up a streaming service, every time you open up your phone, every time you turn on your TV, it's like Pedro. And it's like Gina got fired, but like he's saying some of the same shit on Twitter and whatever else, but it's just like he was, against the bad guys. But that, I don't know, that could kind of be a problematic thing. But like you're saying, if it's in a contract, once you sign the contract, then it's kind of like, hey, you got to keep it under wraps. And then once we're done watching this god-awful trailer, that will be the perfect lead-in to talk about Sean Astin. Sean Astin. You know what? We've reached the pinnacle of just voting against the other guy. There's no way anyone in their right mind actually thinks Kamala is the right person for the job, or is the right. There's no way anyone even thought that Biden was still the right person for the job, because the guy couldn't even string a sentence together. We are at like the bottom of the barrel of I'm just voting against the other guy. So Sean Astin's stupid post where he shut off the comments like a coward. I'm going to go campaign for Kamala Harris. And I'm like, you don't actually think that she's a good candidate. You just have TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, where he's your big bad boogeyman and you have to do whatever it takes to beat him. Good Lord, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Let's watch this stupid trailer. It's going to be bad. I already know it's going to be bad. This already looks like it was generated by AI. Oh, goodness. Somebody stop me. Here we go. Let me know if you guys can hear it. I made sure. I think I shared the audio.
So whistle while you work.
What the hell is that? What is... Disney's animation studios was once heralded as being like the pinnacle of quality that other animation studios sought to achieve. Even into like the 80s and 90s, when you went and watched, movies like Lion King and Aladdin, like there was a certain depth to their animation, and that was also sort of that crucial time when they were, hard transitioning from things being animated by hand versus, computer generated. It was in the 90s. The technology was very young, but I specifically remember movies like Aladdin and Lion King were like heralded as being just like, oh man, like this is such an advancement in the technology. This is so huge. This is major. They should be ashamed of themselves. What is this? And also, we now have Peter Dinklage to thank that there are 7 other little people out there that could have been hired as actors in this movie that are out of a job because he was like, you're gonna like appropriate us or whatever. Good God. Okay, also, this is another funny thing that the internet's been pointing out is like the point of the story. First and foremost, let's just call out the elephant in the room part. The reason why the movie was called Snow White is because literally in the fairy tale it said because her skin was white as snow. It's not racist to say that. That's how the fairy tale was written because they were German. But the other thing is that the evil queen is envious of her because she's more beautiful and more fair, whatever. How is it that the evil queen is better looking than Snow White? I don't think she has anything to worry about here. Just putting that out there. Like, I'm not one of those fanboys that's all like, oh, Gal Gadot, but seriously, like, put them side by side, she's better looking. Like, we don't have anything to worry about, evil queen.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
Also, I'd like to take a second to point out, you've also probably seen her tweets of like, it's her, just like her selfie, and she's like fairest of them all, whatever, and people destroy her in the comments. But then there was another one where it was something, it was like literally just Rachel Zegler tweeting like, oh, and by the way, free Palestine. And it's like, ooh, it's kind of awkward considering the person that you're sharing a movie set with. I mean, I'm sure they're probably done filming by now, unless they're doing massive reshoots like they always do. But it's like, Gal Gadot is Israeli. Pretty sure she's been in support of Israel this whole time, so I'm sure that's been awkward. Yeah. Yeah, so you beat me to the punch on that one. So basically what we're getting at is the entire movie's been filmed in front of a green screen. What's going on with her hand right there? It looks like it's like the little like Deadpool baby hand when he gets his hand cut off in the first movie and it's slowly growing back. Oh man, I'm gonna have to find that screenshot from the first Deadpool movie. No spoilers, Roman. I promise to not spoil anything for you. Oh my lord. Oh my goodness. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, Disney should literally be ashamed of themselves, and Walt Disney is rolling over in his grave. I can't believe how bad that is. Woo! Let's see what else I can find. I had some other fun stuff on my list here. Oh, this one should be fun. So before I even pull this up, I think I've already got it ready. I shared this on Twitter earlier, and I'm really blown away by how stupid people are. I know it's shocking. Every day I'm still surprised at how stupid people are getting. Oh, come on, Roman. You got to at least make it to my birthday in December. Then you can die. But every day for about the past 4.5, almost 5 years, I wake up and think, can people get any dumber? The answer apparently is if you spend enough time on the internet, the answer is yes. We could do that. Let's see. I think before I play this next clip, that I found on the Twitters today. As I said earlier, I will never call it X, only ironically. But I'm going to pour myself a little bit of Buffalo Trace because this is where things really get dumb. I know it's called After Work Beers, but we're starting to get in some dark territory here. This is the state of the world that we live in. So I came across this clip on Twitter today of somebody going around offering people either straight $10,000 in cash or front row tickets to Taylor Swift. You might be surprised at what people's reactions were.
$10,000 or front row Taylor Swift tickets?
Front row Taylor Swift.
It gets worse.
I thought so, girl. I thought so. But what would you choose?
Front row tickets.
Front row tickets? Everybody has said that tonight. And I want to know why.
Because it's worth much more than that.
It's worth, the experience of the Eras Tour is worth more than 10 grand. Do we not agree?
Yes.
More than 100 grand.
It's more than 100. It's more than $1 million. Great.
Okay. Let me just say this. I love music. Honestly, like I don't love what I do for work. Yeah, I'm a machinist. Yeah, I work in a machine shop, but I'm not one of those guys that's really like driven to go into work every day. Like I'm driven to go into work because I got to pay my bills, but I go in, I do what I got to do. I watch the clock. The one and only main thing that I have always been passionate about in my lifetime has always been music. I absolutely love going to concerts. I love live music, both on an arena level all the way down to smaller venues, sometimes local bands. I've been in a few bands throughout my lifetime, and I love live music. I love music. I would say of all of the many bands I've seen live over the years, I would put Tool at the number one spot, probably of just both musical ability, but then visuals, the what they bring with their stage, the lighting, the video screens, everything all encompassed in a live performance by the band Tool is next level. They're always bringing the newest technology on whatever they can get their hands on for each tour, and I've seen them many times over. I love going to their concerts. But if you ask me if I wanted $10,000 in cash or front row tickets to a Tool concert, get the hell out of here. I'm taking the $10,000. Seeing Tool live is next level. That guy, that little beta male that was just like, oh, it's worth more than that. It's the experience. I'll tell you right now, no lie, seeing Tool live is an experience. They really make it a whole visual, audio, everything. It is an experience to see Tool live. But I would not pass up $10,000 to, I'll take the $10,000 and then buy a seat. What the hell is wrong with people? Later this year, I'm going to go see David Gilmour from Pink Floyd perform live. I'm sure that is going to be a whole experience in itself also. But again, if I'm standing outside of the venue about to go in and see David Gilmour from Pink Floyd, somebody walks up with 10 grand in cash and says, do you want this or do you want front row seats to the show? I'd be like, $10,000, thank you. What in the world?
You rather see, why?
Because I can always make $10,000, but I can only see Taylor Swift front row.
You can always make $10,000. Yeah, maybe over the course of, many months when a lot of that money is going to your everyday bills and everything, but she's saying this like, oh, I could just go make $10,000 tomorrow, which honestly, like maybe she has an OnlyFans. I don't know. People are stupid and they pay for OnlyFans. And so I don't know. But she just so flippantly is like, I can make $10,000. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. For the rest of us, that's a lot of money.
With the Eras Tour once.
You're right, girl.
I can probably pay off all my credit card debt with that. I've really whittled it down. That would pay off the last chunk of my credit card
I
debt.
thought so, girl. I thought so. But what would you choose?
Front row tickets.
Oh my Lord, I can't believe how stupid people are getting. And even when I reposted that, like, don't get me wrong, I've already got my issues with Taylor Swift anyways. I'm not here to get into that because I've heard that the Swifties can be quite vicious and they in fact usually wish death upon people. That's always fun. So I'm not trying to piss off the Swifties. I'm literally saying, like, okay, one of my no. So Roman, like an asshole, sent me a picture the other day, and I can't unsee it. Because we were talking about, there's like a rumor of Brie Larson trying to seek legal action against Ryan Reynolds for her being cut from Deadpool Wolverine. Little bit of internet search found that it's mostly a rumor. I couldn't really find any information about that, but he was like, "Oh, I was going to sue Ryan Reynolds, whatever. You can just sell feet pics," and he sent me a screenshot, like super zoomed in on her foot, and I was like, "Wow, you can't. There's certain things you can't scrub your eyeballs enough to unsee that." But no, I think when I posted this on Twitter, I said something along the lines of like, one of my artists that it's like, if I could see anyone living or dead who is now passed on, it would be Stevie Ray Vaughan. Absolutely love Stevie Ray Vaughan, just as a blues player, as a singer, as an artist. Everything about him is great. Unfortunately, he died in the early 90s before I was really old enough to kind of grasp that style of music or to be able to go to concerts. So it's like, this would even be one where like someone came up to me and they're like, "Hey, we figured out how to revive people. We've resurrected Stevie Ray Vaughan. Do you want $10,000 or front row seats to zombie Stevie Ray Vaughan show?" I would still take this $10,000. Like, oh God, people are dumb. Yes. Unfortunately, I discovered him in my late teens, early 20s. He'd already been gone for quite a while. So yeah, that was an unfortunate one. Yeah, that would definitely be another one, Johnny Cash for sure. But yeah, so Roman, if somebody came to you and said, "Oh, actually Johnny Cash is still alive," or "We figured out a way to like revive him and he's gonna go give a show and he's gonna sound just like he did in the 90s, no weird zombie stuff," do you want tickets to see zombie Johnny Cash, or do you want $10,000? So we talked about Corey Feldman a couple weeks ago on Late to the Party News. See if I can find this. And part of me, I gotta be honest, some people have a theory out there that he is trolling people, that like this is all a big joke, that he's doing this on purpose, but I don't know if I believe that. Money for records is always better, or money for whiskey. Cheers. So I pulled up a clip of Corey Feldman shredding, and I will admit, I don't think he's faking it. Because if he was faking it, you think the guitar solo would sound better. Like you would have a better backing track to play while you're supposedly faking your guitar solo. I don't think he's faking it, but I think he's incredibly terrible. One article I was reading about him was saying that like he's very confident. He's one of the most untalented, confident musicians. I mean, obviously as an actor, like people loved him in The Goonies, in The Burbs. I mean, he was a big name back then in the 80s, early 90s. Now he's just completely gone crazy. And I understand, like, some really messed up stuff happened to him. And I'm sorry for that. That's terrible. I hate that, there's that side of Hollywood and the entertainment industry. Some weird stuff happened to him, and I get it. But, man, he is just really off the deep end and decided he wants to be a rock star. He's currently on tour opening for Limp Bizkit on the Loserville tour, aptly named. But, woo, boy, these clips. So people are claiming he's not really playing. He came back, "Oh, I'm really playing. I'm playing every single note of it." It's like, okay, so maybe you are really playing, but you're just sort of like putting your entire hand over the neck of the guitar and just like moving your fingers back and forth and just sort of arbitrarily strumming and like not really doing anything. Yeah, they're coming to Southern California next weekend. Same day as my 20-year high school reunion. So I had a friend who was going to go and then last minute decided to sell his concert tickets to see Limp Bizkit and go to the reunion. I'm not going to either one. But yeah, they will be here soon. It's about an hour and a half drive from where I live, but also probably hotter than Satan's Ballsack out there where the venue is. It's where they used to host the Ozfest out here. It's just in the desert. Yeah, we're gonna get to that in just a minute too. But I just want to keep poking fun at Corey Feldman because it's so easy. So these are some shorts that are. And then the horn malfunctions. Let me just stop it right here. I've seen more than one clip like this. One where he does that laugh before he tries to pull the horn, and another one where he doesn't laugh. And both times the horn malfunctions. So this is where I'm actually starting to believe, like maybe this all is a big joke. Like he's trolling us and looking like oh, like the bullhorn malfunction. But it's like there's been multiple different clips, and you can tell they're from different shows. And each time that thing doesn't work the first time. I'm like, is he trying to like Andy Kaufman us? Is he doing like the Andy Kaufman, the Tony Hinchcliffe? Like, I honestly don't know. Yeah. Meanwhile, the drummer's back there just like, dude, I'm just here for the paycheck, bro. No, didn't mean to do that. How do I get out of this? So yeah, I don't know. Some people think that this is all like he's because and also like the song that's like been in the clips that everyone's like, oh, he's not really playing guitar. The song's called The Joke, and like the main hook is the joke is on you. It's like, is he really just messing with us? I don't know. So here, he said Fred Durst actually came out to sit right there and make sure that he's really playing. The guy back there's having to hype everybody up. He's just like, what in the world is he doing? So here comes Fred Durst.
Word on the street is Corey Feldman is not playing this guitar solo. I want to know if Corey Feldman is really playing this motherfucking solo. How about you? Okay. No tricks, no tracks.
Almost looks like he's about to cry.
Straight up, right? Hit it.
He's just doing a whole lot of nothing. Like he's making noise. I think he's really playing, but he has no idea what he's doing.
Stop. Start again.
He's got the faces down. And there you have it, folks. There's one more. I'm going to see if I can find it. Let's see here. I think I came across this maybe about a week or so ago, and I maybe meant to pull it up on one of the Monday streams, and it just got lost in the shuffle. Oh, here we go. This is a YouTube short titled Corey Feldman Killing It on the Drums. Killing it on the drums. This is literally like this sounds like a child who just got their first drum set and just had their first lesson. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking anyone who wants to learn how to play an instrument. if he really wants to learn how to play the drums or really learn how to play guitar, I'm absolutely sure and fully confident that he can. But as of right now, he does not. He does not know how to play guitar. He does not know how to play the drums. It's very cringy. It's very bad. There's a lot of other clips I could pull up that are way worse. There's one where it's like he actually even tells the band to like take a break, and it's like, oh yeah, go take a break. I'm gonna come out here and do my guitar solo, and it's that same thing where he's just sort of like just making noise and not really doing anything. And that guitar that he's playing is a very, very expensive EVH Eddie Van Halen custom like signature. So I didn't even know this until I read the article about this, but before Eddie Van Halen's passing, he actually had started his own guitar company to basically make his own design of guitars that he liked. It has that kill switch on it where like every time you hit the button, it cuts the signal in and out, so you can do all sorts of stuff like that. It's got the Floyd Rose whammy bar where you can just put that thing all the way down to the floor and bend the crap out of the strings, and it stays in tune, and whatever. But yeah, it's not good. Like the article I was reading is saying it's like, oh, if Eddie Van Halen was still alive, he probably would have vetoed the purchase of him wanting to purchase this guitar, because he has no idea what he's doing. He doesn't know how to play it. Which again, like I'm saying, like he could learn. Whatever. Everybody starts somewhere. But he literally just went in and bought like the most expensive guitar off of the wall that he could, and then he sits there and makes noise, and the crowd cheers and goes nuts, and yeah, I don't know, and yeah, like if you're having to like stand back there and like do this and get people, and yeah, that is definitely not killing it. Well, he might be killing the drums, but not in the good way, or killing our eardrums. Oh boy, let's talk about Sean Astin. What do you say? Let's find that clip. Woo, boy. The amount of times that I have shared the meme today about you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Oh, and then that guy, the British guy that told Elon Musk your time is coming or whatever. So, but we don't need to get into that. That was just funny. All right. Let's open this up. Which also, somebody else made sure to point out also in his video, in Sean Astin's video, it's like, so you got back from like being overseas or wherever you were, and then you decided that instead of going and seeing your wife and kid, like, oh, I'm going to go hit the streets for Kamala Harris. Like, as I started to go down my rabbit hole earlier, it's like, I don't care if you like Trump, hate Trump, whatever. You have to admit, I swear to Christ, you have to admit we have reached the absolute pinnacle of I'm just voting against the other guy. I'm not here to tell anybody how to vote. That's part of what I believe is supposed to be good about America, is that you do have the freedom to vote for whoever you want to vote for. I can have my opinion. You can have your opinion. We can disagree, and that's fine. I believe in civil disagreements and being able to have conversations with people. Most people on the other side don't, but I'm not going to get all preachy and say, you have to vote for this person or you have to vote for this way. But this is so damn cringy. Like just the way people have rallied behind her, like you cannot possibly believe that this person is a good candidate or a good, just so, here we go.
Hey everybody, good morning. Here I am in downtown Chicago at the corner of East Grand and West Grand. And I just decided that I need to get out and start campaigning for Kamala Harris for president.
He just decided. He's like, oh, I just got home and I just decided that I need to do this. And yes, Roman, thank you for reminding me. Unpopular opinion here. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you who you should vote for or who you have to vote for. That's your right to vote. You could go vote for Chuck Norris if you want to, who's probably a better candidate. But I firmly believe if you are going to be a public figure, you're going to be a very well-known actor, and you are going to go out and make pretty bold and controversial statements, I think you should not be allowed to shut off your comments. Because you shutting off your comments means that people don't like what you're saying. That means even the people that are fans, even the people that like you, even the people that, whatever, that people don't like what you're saying, but you're putting it out there anyways because you're trying to virtue signal. You're trying to pander to the left so that you don't lose work and you can keep your job in Hollywood, which completely, let's be honest, what's he done since Stranger Things? I can't name anything. Anyways, it makes me sad because I loved him as Samwise. But this is why I believe that, one, celebrities should not be on social media. Two, why you should not follow said celebrities on social media, because we talked about this on Monday with Roman and with Blair, with like Mark Hamill and Stephen King. And it's like you can be fans of these people's work, but once you see how completely unhinged they are, it goes beyond just disagreeing with their opinion. I can disagree with their opinion, fine. But when they're so unhinged about it and they're like so obsessive about how much they hate, and I'm just like, you've crossed the threshold of being just like, oh, I can disagree with your opinion and that's okay. To now me being like, you're a psychopath. Like, what is wrong with you?
I got back from overseas yesterday and I was going to head home and be with my beautiful wife and my gorgeous children. And then I remembered that I fashioned myself some sort of a leader.
So I was going to go home and be with my family, but instead I'm going to do this shit.
At least in my own mind. And the only kind of leadership that means anything anymore is leadership by example. So I'm going to head over to Indiana, my old stomping ground, where Christine, my wife, where she's from, and where I've spent so much time. And did you know that it shares a border with Michigan? Interesting. Stay tuned. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Here I am at...
Oh, boy. So, yeah. It's funny. I think back to... I don't remember how long ago this was, but I recall seeing a clip many years ago of Larry the Cable Guy, of all people. Who would have thought that tidbits of wisdom were going to come from comedian Larry the Cable Guy? But he was on, I don't know, some talk show or something on Fox News, and he was talking about, when he was younger versus where we're at now with things. And he said, oh, it's like I remember back in the day when, you used to be able to talk to people. One person be able to say, oh, like, I think I kind of like Ronald Reagan. And the other person would say, oh, I disagree with that. It's like, hey, that's fine. We can still be friends. And it's like, okay, cool. We can still get along. We can still, now, oh my goodness. You disagree with somebody on something political, something social, any kind of current events, any kind of world events, anything that's going on. Heaven forbid you disagree with someone, man. They start screaming at you. They start wishing death on you and your families and your unborn children and your pets. And I hope that you get uneven tire wear and bad gas mileage. And it's just like, where have we, what have we done as a society now that like people are not allowed to have different opinions? People aren't allowed to say things that go against the popular narrative. And I think what a lot of it is, honestly, in my very humble opinion, which, I'm a nobody. I'm just someone sitting here talking into a camera at YouTube, and some of you choose to tune in, and I don't know. But I think too many people were indifferent. I think of the opening scene of the Boondock Saints when the brothers are going to mass on St. Patrick's Day, and as they're walking out, the priest is talking about how it's like there's nothing worse than the indifference of good men. And we got to a point where a lot of people were very apathetic and very indifferent. I'll admit there was a time in my life where I was that same person. I'm not up here to ever be phony or try to claim that I was this, that, whatever. Like, you ask me questions, I'll be very honest and upfront about who I am now, who I used to be. And for a long time, I'll be completely honest, for a long time, I was that person that was kind of like, oh, my vote doesn't matter. Like, what's the point? I'll either not vote at all, or I'll vote third party, or, They're not hurting anybody. What difference does it make? So, and then after too long of too many people like myself and others sitting back and just saying, what difference does it make? Let people live their lives. They're not hurting anyone. We got to a point to where now the people who we let go live their lives and, you know, live and let live, what difference does it make? Well, they're not giving the same courtesy back to the rest of us. They're not letting us live and let live. It's now, well, we let you have your thing, but now if anyone dare disagree with you, oh my goodness, oh, rain down hellfire and brimstone and gnashing and wailing and gnashing of teeth, and I hope you and your family die, and everybody just like, but remember, they're the party of love and peace. Yeah, the party of love and peace, constantly wishing death on people. I have my own personal opinions about Dave Grohl. We're not going to get into that, but when he recently made some quips about Taylor Swift at one of his shows, man, the Swifties rained down hellfire on him. But I found out that story goes a little bit deeper, that about a year or two ago, Dave Grohl's daughter tweeted something along the lines of, why can't Taylor Swift just use regular transportation like the rest of us? Meaning how Taylor Swift is all big on, you know, climate change and emissions and whatever, but she's also been very famous for always taking flying private jets everywhere she goes, which probably not good for the environment if you believe in climate change. And the Swifties rained down hellfire on Dave Grohl's teenage daughter and literally wished death upon her. And I'm just like, you know, I can't think of a lot of situations in my life where I would actually wish death on another human being, let alone a complete random stranger that I've never met in my life. So it really blows me away that these people that are all about, oh, love and peace and tolerance, whatever, but man, the second you go against them, oh, they hope you die. They hope your family dies. They hope your dog dies. Like, it blows me away. It really does. So November is going to be very interesting. Did not intend to go on this big political rant, but Sean Astin got me there. God damn it, Sean Astin. Oh, stupid fat hobbit. The social media era has destroyed. Yeah. Oh, because he's got no balls. And now that also explains why he's the wet blanket in this clip.
Get out of my way.
What's that? This, my friend, is a pint. It comes in pints. I can get you one. You've had all half already.
Everybody hates having that friend at the bar. It's like, man, I'm just trying to have a good time. Yeah. But anyways, I think I've made my way through my list of fun topics. I've approached my 1 hour mark. Well, it looks like we have a decent handful of people watching right now. Not so much in the chat, but any of you that are still currently watching, if you are new here, thank you so much for being here and for sticking around. It looks like some of you have been here for quite a while. If you would consider hitting that subscribe button, I'm going to be going live every Monday at 5 p.m. California time. I'm going to try doing Wednesdays at 3 p.m. California time. I might push it back a little bit, maybe 3:34. A little too close to work, but kind of like the idea of just like a very unscripted format. Like I said at the beginning, I'm always unscripted, but usually I kind of do a little more prep where I have articles and things pulled up. But this one was very much just, I was just going to basically turn the camera on. I was going to pull up articles that I'd saved on my phone throughout the day and then just kind of see who pops into the chat. If anyone in the chat has anything they want to talk about. Wednesdays, I'm going to try to keep very, like I said, chill stream. You pop into the chat and you're like, hey, did you hear about this? This thing came up. This thing is trending. Like, throw some stuff at me and see what you got. But please also make sure to hit that like button. At the very least, if you are here watching, like the stream. And then if you do feel so inclined, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, ring it to all so you get notified every time I post a video, every time I go live. I'm slowly kind of breathing life back into this thing. I've revived the channel multiple times over, but life gets in the way. Right now I'm just doing live streams. I'll probably get back to doing some short form videos here sooner than later, but yeah, he said, for now, every little bit helps the channel. 5 subs away from hitting 400. It's a long way from 1,000, but every little bit helps. Every little milestone helps. So, yeah, again, enough pandering, but I'll just say again, at the very, very least, if you're here watching, at least like the stream. And yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, lame fat hobbit. As long as it's below the desk and it's not on camera. I don't think that will help. I'm currently at 395, so I think if you just unsub and resub, I'll be back at 395. And that would just be a disservice to our men and women in the Marine Corps, as I myself never served. So I would not want to appropriate your culture. That would just be wrong. I don't want to misrepresent myself. It actually is funny though. I remember when I first met Roman, Max, and McKenna, all 3 in person. It was at the Spider-Man No Way Home Nerdrotic meetup / I'm getting the hell out of California meetup, and I had obviously communicated with all 3 on the socials and just whatever. So I'd already I talked to Max, I talked to McKenna, I talked to Roman, so we were all familiar with each other. But when I got there and they're like, oh, we all got to get pictures together, and we're doing all our photo ops. I think it was maybe it was Max that said it. They were all taking pictures together, and he gives me the wave, and he's like, oh yeah, come on, get in here, get all the veterans in here. And I was like, I'm not I don't feel like I ever gave off I would never say it, because like I said, I'm going to be very upfront and honest. I'm not going to misrepresent myself. I never said it, so I don't know how somehow I gave off the vibe. A lot of people ask me because of my sleeves, because of my tattoos. Arms are covered. They're like, oh, did you ever serve? And I don't know if they're asking in prison or in the military. Both are a high possibility looking at me. But I think it was Max who apparently, for whatever reason, he had it in his mind that I was a veteran, and he was like, come on, get in the picture. Let's get all the veterans. And I had to be like, I'm not. So yeah, I'm not allowed to wear the silkies because I didn't serve. So yeah. Anyways, I think now that we've completely lost our crowd. Plus, I think Max looks a lot better in them than I do, so I'll let that be his thing. Anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I like to usually keep these things around an hour. Might raise up the possibility of rewatches as people listening to it. It's maybe a podcast the next day or so. I'm going to get back to trying to also upload these onto Spotify, so it's easier for people to listen on the rewatch, because I know I'm a big Spotify guy when I'm at work, listening to music, listening to podcasts. But if you don't pay for YouTube Premium, it's a lot harder to do that. You have to leave your phone unlocked. So I just need to sit down and do it. But I'm going to try to get the replays up on Spotify. So any of you that aren't here live, you can catch the replays. You can just listen to it without having to leave your phone open or whatever. But for now, I'm going to say good night. We had Roman and Lady Marine both very active in the chat. I appreciate both of you. Thank you so much for being here. My little icon up here says that I have 19 people watching. Looks like there's 16 on Twitter, 3 on YouTube, one of which is me, apparently. Anyways, again, those of you watching on Twitter, please consider going over my channel, hitting that subscribe button, like the stream, comment, share it out there for other people to see. If I don't do anything else the rest of the week, I will see you on Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, California time. Until then, thank you for being here and listening to my rants. Cheers and good night.